Alright, welcome to the video. There's been a lot of updates, so I kind of gotta talk about it so that you guys don't get too confused when you're using my spreadsheet. So, first off, let's just start by inputting the basic information. Say we have a product, you have a product order number, let's just say it's 1. And then for our description, we'll just say insert name here. I don't have a name in mind. You're printing one item. Let's say your item has like just one part. I don't know. That's fine. Then your print is gonna take only an hour, let's say. So you'll see that your print time here is 1, and your estimated time here is 1. If you change this quantity to 2, it'll double. If you change it to 3, it'll triple, and so on and so forth. So, oops, gotta keep that as 1. So currently it's 1, and then you have this section here where you can choose like however many colors you want. Currently available to you, you can choose like 2 different colors, but if you go over here and click this, you'll have access to 8 colors for a single print. Kind of overkill, but customer kind of requested it, so I did it. So that's that. You can go ahead and just hide this by just highlighting up here all the way from K to V, like the yellow right here, and then you can right click, go down here, hide, and then everything is nice and condensed. So moving on, let's say you want to use PLA or black, so you use the drop down menu, choose standard. Let's say we're just using 1,000 grams for this, just why not. So as you can see over here, we see it counts more or less like the number of colors used. So right now we've only used 1 color, which is the black PLA, but if we go over here and we choose a black, well, let's just say special or red ESOC, and then you put in a number here also, boom, you've used 2 colors, so it's able to recognize however many colors you're doing, and that'll also translate to the other 8 color options that you get if you unlock this area. So that's that. And then as you can see here, you can see the total weight, so you have 1,000, and then right here you would expect like 2,000, right? But we have an efficiency factor for the material, so right now it's delegating like an extra 10% is going to be used during the print. You can change this to 1 if your system doesn't waste any material, but most people probably leave it at an extra 10% buffer. So that'll be that. Then right here you can choose like your main material type. This is kind of optional. It only really applies for like when you're checking if you're using like this or this section. Not really important, so you can skip that, but more or less you can just like click this to basically check off if you've completed your print, and that number will be reflected over here in the number of prints completed section. Since we have both our estimated time and then our material that our print's going to be using, we can probably skip over to this section here. So this section calculates the material cost and your electrical cost, and then it takes that into account when you're subtracting from however much you're pricing your items. So since we got that out of the way, we can probably go into actually like pricing our items. So right here we have multiple different options. So we can either do standard, special, discount, personal, sample, benchmark, and then the newest edition, which is mat cost plus margin percentage. For context, the standard pricing can be can be controlled by going to this section up here. So right here we have the pricing rate, the setup cost, cost per hour, and then price per print for if you're like printing like multiple parts and you want to tack on an extra 25 cents for every part that's printed on like a single print bed. If we go back to the setup cost, that's more or less your labor cost. So it's the base cost. So let's say you're printing one item. Actually, instead of me just talking about it, I'll just show it. So we go over to this section, the price rate. We hit standard. So right now the base quote is $3.75. If I change the setup cost to 0, the base quote will be $1.25. And how long has this print been going for? An hour. And how much is the cost print per hour? It's $1.25. So that's what you see there. If we put in our setup cost at 2.5, it'll increase that value by 2.5. Yeah. And then the same logic applies to the special. The special rates being I'll change that setup to 0. The special filament is 2.25 per hour. So as you can see, the base quote is $2.25, and then you can more or less just change between those two. So that's that. I'll just change that to 5 for a nice round number. So yeah, if we go back to like discount, personal, and sample, these kind of ignore the things that I mentioned before about standard and special, because it doesn't take into account this information right here. So if you choose any one of these, then you're not gonna have a base quote for either discount, personal, or benchmark, because that's just not for pricing. If we go to a material cost plus margin, it's more or less just going to take the material cost. So as we can see, it's $11.08. So that will become our base quote, and then from there you can go to this column right here, and then you can factor in like a profit margin. So if you want like a profit margin of 10, 20, or 10 through 70, you can choose any one of those. I'll choose 50 right now. So $11.08 with the 50% margin is $22.17. So yeah, that makes sense. If you want to check for like what your potential profit margin or what your potential final quote would be, you could go to this section up here and put in your product order number, and then all of this information from your order is just going to be displayed in a nice and condensed format. So this section will have your quantity. Quantity is 1, which makes sense. Our print time is an hour, which also makes sense. Material usage, 1.1K. Yeah. Material type, PLA. Our pricing rate, we're using the mat cost plus margin percentage, and then we have our base quote, which is that. That makes sense. Our material cost is 11. That also corresponds. Yeah, so we more or less have all of our information filled out for the print. So we can go over here and check out our shipping costs. So let's say we want to have $5.50 as a shipping. You can just input that value right here, and then if you want to apply that shipping cost to the final quote, you can just hit this checkbox, and as you can see, the final quote is now $27.63. If I uncheck it, it's $22.17. And yeah, since we're already over here, we can go to the this section. It's not really that important. This is just if you want to make notes for like the customer, or you can go to this section and put any print settings if you're like trying to keep track of your settings change. You can check that out there. Alright, welcome to the video. I'm just going to explain the upper portion of this spreadsheet. I've already explained how to just use a spreadsheet in general in some other video. This is just like a shorter form so you guys get like a better understanding of what all this stuff up above does. So first off, we have our pricing rate section. So we have two different rates right here. We have standard and special. We can control the setup cost, so before anything's printed we can like tack on an extra $5 or an extra $10 or an extra $2.5. You can do that here. If you want to do like cost per hour, you would adjust that for both the standard and special individually in this section. So currently for a standard rate, or the standard filament, it's $1.25. So if we go down here quickly, we can see the estimated time is set at an hour. And then if we go over here, sorry, I will turn this to 0. So setup cost is 0 right now. Our standard rate per hour is $1.25. Go over here, we see $1.25. If we change this to special, you'll see a base quote of $2.25, and you can see that $2.25 is reflected here. I'll change this to 5 quickly. Change that to 10 quickly just for demonstration's sake. You'll see that the special is 10, standard is 5. If you want to tack on an extra, let's say 2.5 for the initial setup cost, 2.5 plus the 5 is $7.50. If I change that to special, that's now $12.50. So you guys probably get like a better understanding of that. If you want to experiment with the different or these different rates that you put over here, you can just go to this section and you can just play around with the values. So you can just play around with the print time, the number of units, print time, number of units, and then you can see like the bottom row right here. This will display your quote. I kind of forgot to explain this part. We have a number of parts per print. So more or less, I'll change this to 25 cents for now, for demonstration purposes again. Yeah, I'll change this to 1. So this is more or less however many parts, or however many individual parts of a print are on a bed at the time. If you want to take that into account, you don't have to. I actually say that this is optional. So I'll put that there. That's optional, don't need to fill it out. So more or less, yeah, however many of these you have, this will update your listing or your quote by 25 cents. So we go over here, our standard is now from $7.50 to $7.75. If I change this to like 10, it'll increase the amount by that. So that would be 0.25 or 25 cents times 10 is whatever that is. So that explains this upper portion. If we want to go over here, this is just gonna calculate the total hours printed. The quantity, that'll take the summation of everything in this column. So if I change this, the quantity is now 2. This is gonna show how much filament in general has been used. This will tell you the number of orders that are completed. So for every order that you do, you have to put like a number here, so you can reference the information on the other spreadsheets. So as you can see, as I update these, it'll increase the count for the total number of orders, so you can just keep track of all that. You can also keep track of the number of special or standard and special orders and the rest of these options. Yeah, then you keep track of your standard, special, discount, personal prints, sample, benchmarks, and then the newest edition, which is number of mat cost plus margin prints. You can see these right here. So if I change this to special, you'll see that this updates. So 1 and 1. So that's that. This section here is for the electrical, so you can put in your printer name, your print volume, your device wattage, and then you can also put your cost per kilowatt hour right here, and then everything else is automated, so don't touch this part, don't touch this part. Those are calculations. If you don't want to use this, you could more or less set like a fixed electrical rate of like 0.31 cents per hour. If you want to use this value, you need to click this. So as you can see, this is 0 right now. If I click this, it's 31 because we have a print for only 1 hour, so that reflects that. Just keep that in mind. And then we go over to this section here. We have the revenue from the standard, special, and then you have the setup cost, and then you have the parts per print, and then your mat cost plus margin. You'll see all these values here. So right now, if we go back over here, we see our pricing rate of a standard with a base quote of $7.75 right here. And then if I change this to special, this will be $2.70 or $12.75. You can see that we have a setup cost of $2.50. So then, yeah, you'll see that value right here. You'll see the parts per print, and then if I change this to margin, it'll show how much money we're getting from the margin, or from this price rate. And yeah, I kind of been talking about this wrong, but the base, we shouldn't be looking at the base code. We should use this portion right here, the margin percentage or markup percentage. You don't want to be looking at this value over here rather than the base code. Just an FYI. So now we can move on to this section. This section totals up the electrical, material, and shipping costs. Also, in this section, we have the number of prints, number of orders shipped, your immediate profit, and then your net profit. It's currently negative 250 because of the other spreadsheet where we actually like bought all of our material. So that's why this is negative 250. So yeah, that's more or less a decent enough explanation. I guess like one last thing I'll probably mention is this part right here. So if I put in your product order number of 1, you'll see all of our information. So we have a print time of 1 hour right here, material usage is 110, PLA, your pricing rate right here, and then you can see your base quote, and then you can also see your potential margin / markup prices being shown over here. So yeah, currently have a margin percentage of 40%, so that would align with this value right here. So yeah, I think that's a good enough explanation. This is where you apply the shipping cost to your final quote, and then you can also see that it'll update the counter right here. So yeah, yeah, that's more or less that part. So that concludes explanation for the first spreadsheet. There's going to be 2 more videos. I'll walk you guys through that as well, so stay tuned. See you in the next video. Alright, this is the material tracker spreadsheet. I'm just going to explain this. So as you can see, we have both the standard filament and we have a special filament section. These correspond to the 2 different pricing rates on the print log sheet. So as you can see, for price rate, you have standard and special. those two are available where you can see that. Yeah, so back here you can see that you can choose like the type, the color. This is automated, so don't touch this column that shows the weight. You can put your brand, quantity, item cost, and then this portion gets automatically calculated. I'm just gonna start putting in some, I'll just start putting in some information. So do PLA. Let's do blue. And then, I don't know, let's just use eSun as a brand. We'll put that there. We will say that we're buying 2 spools of this material. And then, I don't know, let's just say that the cost of that's $10. So as you can see, you have $10. You bought 2 of them, that's $20. You'll see that show up here. And then if you notice, you'd notice that this also changed. So we have our standard blue PLA, 2,000 grams. That's what's available. So 1,000 times 2, that'd be 2,000. We haven't used any materials, so it's at 100%. Just for quick demonstration purposes, I'll go to the other spreadsheet, and then I will change this to the one that we just wrote. So it's S2D standard blue PLA. I change that. Go back to the material tracker, and then you'll see that this is updated, and you'll see that this amount of material, this much of the material has been used. That was a mouthful for some reason. So that's that. And then if we go down here, this section is where you can like customize the spool weight. So everything above this portion is default 1,000 grams or 1 kilogram. Over here you can customize it, so you can put like 500. You can put, I don't know, I don't really know what the other ones are. It's either 500 or 3,000. So let's say your spool is only like 500 grams. I can then do PLA or whatever. I'll do ABS just to switch it up. ABS, let's just say clear. And then, I don't know, same brand, eSun. And then let's say we buy 1 of those. And let's say this is, well, let's say probably a little bit more expensive. We'll say $20. So as you can see, customizable spool weight is 500. Then you have 500 grams. If I double that, that'll be 1,000. If I bump that up to 4, that's 2,000 grams. You guys get the idea. And then the information from this side gets automatically put on this side. So that should be a decent enough explanation of this part. Yeah, if you have like federal or provincial taxes on your materials that you buy, you can put it up here. I'm in Canada, so that would be I think it's 5% for federal and 13% for provincial, or other way around, I forget. So that'll total up for your GST and HST. And then the special filament section is identical to the first section, so I don't really need to go over that. Yeah, if you go over here, you can see some more information. So this will more or less show you like the material consumption. So yeah, in the standard blue PLA, we use this amount, and then it'll show the usage for each of these material types. Right now I only have 1 entry, so you're only going to see that. And then also over here we have an area where you can see like how many times PLA has been used. That's just to see if see the popularity insights on which materials like popular. Over here you can put notes. You can also do quick notes for the material that you buy. Same thing for down here. Down here is for if you don't know the usage of the material that you bought. So you can just go ahead and fill in the information here, and it should work the same as this. So right now we can do red, blue, green. You can choose your type, and then it'll count your material usage. And then you can also put the brand. Again, more quick notes. So yeah, that should be a decent enough walkthrough of how to use a spreadsheet. There's going to be another video explaining the client tracker. Yeah, stay tuned for that. I'll be uploading that soon. Also, before I forget, to have these options like shown here, you have to go to the drop down list and actually insert these colors individually or manually for it to actually show up in the material tracker. So yeah, that should be it. Alright, sorry for the rough transition. This is the final spreadsheet. This is the client tracker. So first off, if you want to pull information from your print log, if you go over to the print log, our product order number was number 1. So on the client tracker, you want to put in that number. So you put in 1. And when you do that, it'll populate the information from here. So it'll take all the important information really. So as you can see, you're printing one of these items. The print time was an hour. The pricing rate was set on special last time I checked. It has a 50% margin or markup price. Final quote was $15. Manufacturing cost was $11.08. Shipping cost was $5.50, and the profit was $3.92. If you want to do this, or the manual pricing, you can go back to the print log and then change this to discount. Preferably discount. You could do personal, sample, or benchmark, but you primarily want to choose discount. So that would get rid of your base and final quote. You would then go back to the client tracker, and then you can put in your manual pricing of, let's say, $25. So then you'd have a profit of $13.92. If you have any additional fees or deductions you want to make from this profit, you can put it in this column. So I'll just put $1 for simplicity's sake, and you'll see a profit of $12.92. And that should be that. Alright, so that concludes the video. If you're still watching, I don't know what you're doing. Go check out the spreadsheet, links in the description. If you like the video, give me a like. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. And yeah, have a good day, guys. See ya.